cannot handle real work, reality talk, 80+ language, simply skip the video.
You know, for a couple of weeks ago, I did I think a YouTube live stream. And you know what? You know, I always like to play around a little bit, right? You know, because I don't know the people. Live streaming is not yet part of my character. But the thing is, I put people words in their mouth. So I used a lot of the word cringy. And you know what? See, I always say, right, negativity always comes from the bottom feeders. They have jobs, self-employed, or go to school. You're fed up with this stuff. You know, people are not made to be enslaved and or to be brainwashed. Of course, a lot of people will obey, but you know what? It will exhaust from another side in the spectrum in their lives. You know, they're gonna get angry, negative behavior, or all kind of vices, watching television, watching all the adventure of other people, because you know, you don't make yourself uncomfortable, which means no adventures and nothing. And you know, so I use the word a lot of cringy, and then one person, you know, of course, no profile picture, nothing, he said, yeah, you are cringy. That's it. See, I don't mind negativity at all. I actually do like it because I know where you at in life. But the thing is, when you know, say something negative, then at least have a reason, give some feedback how you would do it better, so the person can learn from it. I like to learn. You know I talk a lot about my own mistakes, what I did in life, using boatloads of drugs, alcohol, totally outrageous, aggressive, no boundaries in relationships, because I didn't set my own, but also I didn't have boundaries about loyalty and all that kind of stuff. That is just setting yourself up for disaster. So the thing is, what I want to say with this, I am always willing to listen, because I'm more than transparent about most of my flaws. And when I start opening the floodgates of, I don't know what, somewhere there are floodgates, you know, you would say, wow, it's a miracle that this guy is still alive. Anyway, so when you put negativity, or at least judgment, and then also give it a little bit feedback, you know, how would you do it better? And another thing, I think it's also always great when people can explain from my own experience, not some things that they heard on YouTube, or you know, that they read in a book and they talk about those experiences. No, from your own experience. What was your experience about, you know, the negative outcomes from negative behavior? So one thing that I mentioned, and I think that is one of the biggest reasons, I think, and it's not about the health part, I think, don't use drugs. And that is my personal view on this, because you build so fast fake rapport with people you would never build rapport with. And especially if you would be an idiot like me in the past, you know, you dive into projects, you make agreements, but the other people don't. Waste of time. That is actually the worst part for me, from my own experience, that using drugs going nowhere. The thing is, for myself, if no, at this point in my life, you know, I'm not doing drugs anymore. And it's also doesn't have, because I'm like, you know, I talked about this before, I'm like Obelix and Asterix. I don't know if you did, the two characters that drink that potion and they can beat up all the Romans. And one of this guy is Obelix, and he fell with his body in the kettle of this magic potion. Well, you know, sometimes I think I'm still high, but I'm high on life. But where was I going with this? I don't know. But let's push out some things. Oh yeah, when it's about cringy, oh yeah, and when it's also about my vlogs, eh? And in the meantime, I'm gonna train a little bit, because I like to keep on moving. But I wanted to talk or say something about those because I started with the word cringy, you know, those advertisements. I bump a lot in those, especially from the local businesses. And it is not to talk down on Bulgaria. I love Bulgaria. Bulgaria's over here, tattooed, and got a lot of connections over here. But the thing is, besides that, a lot of businesses, they have very interesting advertisements. And you can see that those people, and not only from Bulgaria, I see a lot, see I'm from Holland, and also get Dutch advertisements. Those advertisements are also so, you know, you can see that it's so scripted. And this is what I think about scripted, and that's why I want to keep my vlogs also pretty much the way they are, maybe a little bit more, you know, the transitions, and I don't know what, to make it look a little bit more flashy bassy. But the thing is, in real life, you know, I'm showing you the training part, you know, I'm sharing my experiences and of life, and also my thoughts that maybe would make you think. And there's also another, and I am getting mentally fed by a very colorful past. But not only this, I lived in multiple countries, I have projects running in multiple countries, I am obsessed with communicating with people, I'm meeting everyday people, I'm listening to people, their stories every single day. That goes from, let me think about my words, no, I can say this, that goes from talking about hitmen to people who crying about for 2 months about their girlfriends. Just saying that happened in the past 72 hours. And like I said, no, if you watch my vlog, this video for the first time, I have a very colorful palette of people, but also a whole very colorful audience runs into me on a daily basis, which I'm very grateful for, because somehow, somewhat, those people think that they can pretty much put all the cards on the table sometimes. And I think, wow, it's very good that you speak to me and not to some kind of other person who likes to blah blah blah. And if you think now, yeah, Dallam, but now you also spill the beans. No, I'm not spilling the beans, I'm just sharing, because I don't mention names. I don't say this person from this neighborhood, or and he looks or she looks like this. No, I'm just using those as examples, so you understand a little bit where all the inspiration comes from, and only based on real life, and everything is unscripted. Had to get back on those ads, you know. Then this morning I saw, I think there were 2 guys. One is walking into his office. Now yeah, first of all, people, the environment that they walk in, that is all great, but then also please put a little, if you set up everything, sorry, I'm scratching my face, not that I have fleas or something or the other little animals, but the thing is, you know, if you do something, then put a little bit more attention to, you know, because these people were wearing pants very high, you know, the belt very high, you know, and everything is so scripted. The lighting is, I think, very unprofessional. Not that I'm not over here to claim that I'm doing everything scripted, and I'm not promoting anything. I'm just sharing my thoughts. So if you do those ads, you know, you're not passionate about your product. And then that's another thing. Those videos, they also get they're taken offline very fast, because they simply, and then now of course you got the people who run those ads for them, the marketing people who strike up the fees and don't give a beep about anything about return on investment of the investor. But the thing is, you know, if the product and the service, or the product or the service is good enough, and the people really stand behind it, so they're obsessed with it, you know, you don't need to even pay for those ads. And if you would do, you let them run on the back end on a lower budget, but in the meantime your ratio of, you know, organic traffic may be 15:1, and so this cringy one little scripted thing gets backed up by a real person behind it. That's how I think, you know. And also when it's about dotcombaron, I'm giving everything away for free, all the strategies. Everybody, see, my view on life is simply, and I started selling since I was 11, door to door, cleaning bicycles, and you know, did a lot of offline projects, had bars, organized events, participated in events. What else? Store, a lot of side projects, also projects with a lot of idiots. But I learned a lot from it. But the thing is, where I want to go with this, my thing with dotcombaron is to show people that's possible. I'm 46, almost 47. So if you're 40 plus and you would say, yeah, but Dylan, all this AI and all that kind of stuff is not for me. Let me tell you something about AI. When I was 41, when I lost pretty much everything for the last time, quote unquote last time, the thing is, when AI came maybe 2 years later, I don't even remember, maybe it was 2 years ago that AI publicly became available, I straight away dove into it. I was already rebuilding everything, cleaning up my circle of people, but now I know it's possible. I narrow down the strategy so it can be executed by a 12-year-old just to get started. No investment, just do it. Anyway, you're scrolling mindlessly 3-4 hours a day. One other person actually told me once he does a minimum of 5 or 6 hours, and he was very honest about it. And that's another thing, people are very honest about it, about their own behavior. I mentioned this one also before, you know, one young guy, and you know, well, I think it's very nice that he was so open about it. He said, I don't know, he was 19 or something, and he said, I'm still a virgin. And I said, good, I respect that. But also I respect the fact that he actually just said it away. And you know, it's very honest, raw. If you're watching this, and I really, and this guy still have, once in a while when I send him a message, he still responds. And this is another thing, and then I'm gonna stop this vlog. I'm gonna keep my vlogs also very short. The thing is, when it's about two groups of people, one that are trained on a regular basis, and I'm not always looking for the obsessed ones, but if you compare a group of people that don't do anything, or the people who do something on a regular basis, the people who train somehow, somewhat, they are always responding. They are responsive. The people who don't do anything, from who I know, they always have something. Yesterday also one guy, he came back from Malta, he said, he's now in Bulgaria, he said, my phone was out of order. But the thing is, I can see when somebody saw my messages. See, the thing is, for me, when people lie or deny, or, you know, but I know his character, so I think, you know, he's on that level. You know, the level of denial and, you know, willy-nilly. He's still, you know, it's not judgmental, but I do believe he is still very, very struggling with himself. And I feel sorry for those people. And, you know, I visit him on a regular basis just to see how he's doing, see if their progress, you know, and I never cut off people unless they start lying so bad, you know, then it's a done deal, because then there's simply no discussion possible, and or you know, give people feedback, because you know it's not going anywhere. If people lie to the outside world and to themselves about, you know, that is not going anywhere, because you twist reality. And when you twist reality, how can you improve your own reality? And then if you attract other people in this setup reality, then, you know, you understand. When I enter his made-up reality and I try to give him advice or whatever, you know, try to give him some sort of direction, then it's a direction in a virtual world that only exists in his mind, not in the real world, where the steel is hard, the concrete is hard, the sun is bright and warm at the moment, but it doesn't matter, you know. And also when it's about temperature, there are two situations, because I thought about this yesterday, because 16 years ago I came for the first time to Bulgaria, because I lost everything, and we came over here to survive. And the thing is, I saw, and I know if you're a Bulgarian, Bulgarians hate gypsies or whatever, they got something against those. When it's about hate, you know, I never like that. But the thing is, there was a gypsy guy in the middle of the winter wearing only a t-shirt, and I thought, wow, how is that possible? He wasn't fat or something. He was just, you know, skinny and only a t-shirt. And I was really, and I'm still until the day. Yeah, I forgot about the 15-minute rule on my GoPro thing. The thing is, so then I think about this guy, you know, he was just wearing a sweatpants, sitting on his horse and picking up all kind of stuff next to the road. And the thing is, I thought, wow. And what was the other thing? I cannot come up with the other example, but that was one of those that I think it's mind over matter. And so, for example, when I start running, or when I do my runs in the winter, you know, then I also go outside and I think, wow, it is cold. And when it's about doing something, hey, if you're not one of those people who have discipline yet, I think, because I think about a lot of ways to knock down objections from people who haven't started doing something or implementing habits in their life that are beneficial, you know. I think no matter how many years you're gonna do it, it will always suck. And the thing is, next to that, people like me, and I'm far away from those ultra marathon runners, but you know what, before I start running, I can come up with all the excuses that I know that are coming. You know, it's gonna be uncomfortable, you know, maybe you will feel your lungs, your knees, you think this and blah blah blah. And if you start, you don't know where things are painful. And see, and I understand there's a balance of, you know, the unknown, yes, but I know on what kind of kilometers I start to get over it. I know on kilometer 3, you know, I start to warm up or something like this. You know, I know pretty much where it sucks and where it feels good, and then it sucks again, and then after kilometer 15 it sucks even more, and then I have again a bright moment. Then you know that you think about all kind of thoughts in your mind. So I know those things are coming. So when you think about, or you consider to start, and you constantly hammer on all the negativity or all the adversity that might come your way, you simply have to start doing it, because it will never get better. Also, when you think about those very famous ultra runners, you know, they all say that it sucks. You know, I never did 100+ kilometers, but I do believe them that it sucks. But I'm so curious about the state of mind that they get in, because I did my longest run ever, I think it was around 34 kilometers or 33. I reached that point that I'm totally blank in my mind, and that was actually a very good feeling. So I do want to do the Sofia Plovdiv run. That is a 156 kilometers, probably a little bit more, because hey, you need to go a little bit, you cannot run on a highway. So that's something that I'm preparing for, doing a lot of calisthenics, a lot of runs, try to get as much air in my lungs. And so, when it's about also preparing for something that it's for me the unknown, you know, 150 kilometer plus is for me unknown. But then you look at the guy, there's some kind of YouTube guy, he looks totally untrained, and he did a 200 kilometer thing in Germany, I think. Just he does all kind of challenges, and then I think, yeah, you know, he simply does it. See, and what I'm also then thinking about, you know, it's a 24 run. If I do 7 kilometers an hour, you know, that is pretty realistic, I think, for a guy like me. Maybe you go a little bit lower, then it will be around 24 hours plus. So I will run in the dark. You know, you also, so because I want to travel in the back end to Plovdiv first, to see how it looks like, mentally prepare. Try to get some sponsorships on top, give it away to charity, it's not for myself. What else? So I don't want to talk about myself, but I'm gonna give you how I think about stuff, and also how I live, what I'm talking about. You know, I'm constantly trying to increase. So when it's also about, when people talk about make up or clean up your bed, or before you leave your room or place, keep it as tidy as possible. Every day I'm increasing the organizing things, the things that I do have in the physical world. And here in Bulgaria, I have stuff in Malta, maybe 2 suitcases, mostly books actually. The thing is, here in Bulgaria, I have a suitcase, duffel bag, backpack. Yeah, that's pretty much it. But everything has function. I will make a video about it because I live very minimalistic in the real world. I live in an Airbnb, so I live this life what I'm speaking about freedom. I had businesses, you know, I had locations that I had to go to. I had to talk with people. I don't have to. I don't have to. And this is something that is possible now in this time, in this era that we live in now. You, me, we live in this era. It's all possible. You don't need to go to your 9 to 5. You don't need to go to your local business and beg on your knees that they pass by. And if you have, then you should definitely also listen to me, because you need to get a lead collection. And a lot of people over here, I understand, they're in the traditional thinking. I give you product, I give you service, you give me money, over. That is all nice and fun, but the moment that your business stops, it stops. The money tap is closed. And then a lot of people would say, yeah, but in the meantime, I buy a couple of real estate things and the money will drip in. Yeah, on what kind of level? And that is also, you know, what do you got coming in? 10 grand a month and you lay down on your back? Well, there's also something dangerous about, right? To lay down on your back, and with 10 grand, what you're gonna do with this? The thing is, let's move. What else can I say? Well, let's keep it like this, I think. And by the way, everything that I'm saying is out of my own, from my own experience. I speak from experience. Give my 2 cents on this, especially also when you're 25, you know. I'm thinking, so the 25-year-old young people, they have so much more than they think, you know. You live in, especially when you live in your own country, you speak the language fluently, and on top of that you're busy with social media, so you understand what is going on a little bit, although you're not analyzing it probably at the moment, because otherwise you wouldn't go to school, you wouldn't make plans to go university and all that kind of stuff. You know, you would set up your digital assets and grow them, and that is the strategies that I'm giving. But also when you're a parent, you know, one guy also, he says constantly, if you got something to do, then tell me. I'm giving you everything very soon on dotcombaron, the website. I give everything away for free. And if you are a parent of somebody, then I would, even if you wouldn't do it for yourself, then set it up for your children. Cost you only 10 minutes a day. If you're a very quickly distracted person, you can do it in 10 minutes a day, just to start up the digital asset building. Really think about that, right? And when I also say it, it's sometimes when especially also when I'm in the subway or something, then I look at all those people there with their noses in the phone, like they almost want to crawl in it, you know. And then I think, where are you guys going? You know, that's the first question. Where are you guys going? Now, where they're going, they probably go to work and or hang around and drinking in the mall and drinking milkshakes. Yeah, that is all fun, but the thing is, if you just drink milkshakes or go to work, then I think you spend, at least in a subway, when they go to, probably at least 20 minutes. With those 20 minutes, start setting up an asset. And if you do this every day, 20 minutes, you go to monetize your traveling to your work, and you build this asset. I'm telling you, if you would do this every day, 20 minutes a day, building those assets that you control. Think about this. Yeah, but Alan, I can also buy crypto. I have my own thoughts about crypto. Yeah, I told this before, you know. We were in the crypto thing when Bitcoin was $375, you know. Just saying. When Electronium came on the market, we bought it in the IPO period for 0.001. I think it was at that time. We sold it for 15 cents. See, and then things are interesting, right? You're not gonna buy now a Bitcoin in the hope that, now let's say you buy it now, I don't know how much the Bitcoin is, but let's say it's 100,000 and it's a million later on, that you only tenfold your money. Yes, unless you put in 10 million, you got 100 million maybe later on. That is nice, but you're not gonna put in your last 5,000 or 10,000 and then when it's 10,000 then it's 100,000. Think about the time, what you can do with the 10,000. You don't need investment money so much to build digital assets. I'm giving you the strategies for free, so you could increase the speed with only, let's say, a few $100s. So if you would consider now, oh Dylan, but I'm gonna buy for 10,000 euros Bitcoin because probably it's going to a million, then after 10 years then it's, I don't know what, you know how people think. But if you got those 10 grand, or let's say 1,000, the world is on your feet, telling you, not on your feet, it's in the palm of your hand. And I'm gonna mention this multiple times because for me it hurts me a little bit. And I'm not saying this in a cynical way or to make fun of people, but you know, when people play with their phones, then I think you're not all doing business. So first of all, stop doing it. Chatting with your friends, you go over there and you have a conversation, or when they get together and then they share TikToks with each other. I don't know. The thing is, try to make your life a little bit more productive, and especially when you're young, your brains are fresh. Hopefully, don't eat too much pizzas and all that kind of stuff to get your brain foggy. Try to build character, travel a little bit, try to speak English, try to speak another language. You know, open the doors of opportunity. Just give a piece of advice. Because when it's about learning another language, I started actually speaking, let's say, pretty good English after when I was 29, simply because I met a girl. That was actually the main reason. But you know, when you went to school at my time, you have to learn this and this, blah blah blah, and then you got those unexpected tests, and then you don't graduate and all that stuff. They don't see, it's the way they bring it, right? They say you have to learn this, otherwise you're gonna fail this year. Now I failed 3 times at one point in my life, so I was pretty sucking at school. But you know, it's the intent behind it, and my intent to share my thoughts and also my strategies when it's about doing things from your phone. You know, I know people that have warehouses, they have employees. Yes, they make a lot of money, but understand also there comes a lot of quote-unquote anxiety and responsibility with having big warehouses, people, blah blah blah. I employed tons of people. At one point I didn't even know that some people were working for me. Yeah, because I'm not a good manager, and I was, let's say, and I'm not saying this to brag or put a feather in my behind. Thing is, I was too humane. I took people home, cooked for them, cooked behind the stores. But anyway, that's a whole different topic. Let's cut and let's finish this run. And then later I'm going to move somewhere else. Anyway, let's finish this run, train. Ciao for now. And by the way, before I forget, nobody ever went to jail for giving too many compliments. Because if you want to start somewhere to build a better life for yourself, no matter what you do, giving compliments doesn't cost you anything and won't get you into jail. And it will make you feel good. Do it for selfish reasons. And if you fail, because I know from multiple people that they say, yeah, but I did it. And how many times you did it? 1 time per week? Yeah, of course. Life is a numbers game. It's with everything. Oh, about one conversation. And yesterday, this guy, he's recovering from a breakup. He said he is on 80% recovery. By the way, if you're watching this, I'm just sharing this story. But the thing is, you know, He's on 80% recovery. The thing is, and he is 1 year older than me, and I said, you know, your ex is still living rent-free over here between your ears. You're not over it. And 80%, what does that mean, you know? So there's 20% of your mental thing is going towards your ex. I understand if you didn't find your purpose or a real thing to live for. Yeah, I understand. Then you start digging in the past. So my advice on this, try to build a future for yourself. Sit down in your room in the dark, start writing down, what do you want? What do you want? Write it down. And start focusing on it. You want to be healthier, you want to have whatever you want. Or you want to become an addict, I don't know, but and no judgments over there. You know what my thoughts about alcohol and drugs are. But the thing is, when it's about drugs, it really opened my mind. And by the way, I'm not promoting anything regarding those kind of habits, but for me that was always, yeah, you go deep. And I had to go deep to dig out and meet a lot of demons and things in my own demonic brain. But if you're still digging or hanging in the past, especially when it's about another person, let's say a breakup, don't. Life is too short. This person is since August, September, October. That is 3 months. That is 1/4 of the year is occupied. It's destroying your life. Eh? Really think about that. That is so, no matter. See, another person will move on, right? They're already doing hanky-panky with the neighbor or whatever. It's true. And is the world all cold and harsh and I don't know what? I think life is incredibly beautiful and you get what you deserve. That's what I would say. I would like to say, if you get a lot of adversity, you are somehow blessed. You should be feeling blessed because you will get adversities on your plate and prove that you're worth it. Prove it. Just do it. Face it. Face everything. Ruthlessly, relentlessly. And say, yes, give me more. Give me more from everything. You want something? Give me the challenges that come along the way and face them. Destroy them and get stronger. Because every time when I'm running into because I thought about some things, those are big things actually. I'm not going to share them in this vlog. Along the way I will say, you know, my whole life, you know, this whole vlogging journey of mine, that, you know, this I'm getting so addicted to it. And the thing is also, when some people say, yeah, but Dylan, sometimes it seems that you're bragging. I don't think that I'm bragging. I'm just trying to share my thoughts, because I know a lot of people won't have the intent to leave their family behind or whatever and start traveling and absorb all kind of different levels of society. So you won't have this kind of input. You won't have this colorful palette of people access to, because you simply cannot connect with a lot of people. And for me, and I'm gonna tell you because I thought about this, and this is something to put in my, again, and that I'm very transparent and maybe even a little bit more vulnerable. See, I am adopted. I don't know where I'm coming from. That is 100% true. And I found something that fulfills this. So I am genuinely interested in people, their behaviors, and also when I see people with their parents, you know, and then I see, you know, similarities. I'm really in awe by this, you know, because I never had those things, and that is my, you know, I found my thing. That is also probably one of the reasons that a lot of people do come talk to me, because they can, you know, you attract what you are, and I am attracted in speaking with a lot of people. Not only I'm also genuinely interested. I'm also, you know, and this is also another thing. In the past I would be too curious about everything, and then people actually you know. Yeah, it was irritating sometimes, I know, but now I know where the boundaries are. I can see, I look at the body language, listen to the tonality, and also, you know, everything. I optimize everything, try to do my best. Anyway, we have to keep on moving because I'm over here in my t-shirt and I'm getting colder. Anyway, ciao for now.